We can have dinner inshallah with the children of Tajweed Class. Jazakallah khair. My wife was in Detroit this weekend. She went to all Yemeni places. She said there's a lot of Yemeni places. She knows she went already. They have like Yemeni tea and coffee.
Her roots are still there,
Yeah.
and the American environment.
Many people coming, they're working hard in buying places. You heard that? They're going to
Restaurants.
yeah, they say go try them. Doesn't mean that you can go there. No, not go. Move there. I found that.
جالي الشامي أنا كنت هناك. جالي الشامي
He's trying to fight your shy.
He's trying to fight
We can strengthen our immune system.
A little bit warm.
I need to warm you up, and you want to cool me down.
Whenever you want to drink tea, you can increase the heat.
Huh? And I put like a little bit of, even honey doesn't work for you.
الاثنين الكافيين برضه اسمه.
He's still going to get everything so you can get your way.
And not عارف السكون.
So you should actually take advantage of this time and review, because if you don't answer, bring me my tea bag.
So fine.
You should drink the tea whenever it's sweet. See, this one have as much caffeine as a cup of coffee. It's good, mashallah. I like the drink coconut.
So I want you to review the mad عارف للسكون. عارف للسكون, and the other one is مد اللين. الضالين. الضالين, it was written here, the word الضالين. الضال, is it عرض للسكون or مدلين? Who knows? الضال, is it عرض للسكون or مدلين? Huh? Is it عرض للسكون or مدلين? You raise your hand if it's عرض للسكون. الضال, عرض السكون or مدلين? You raise your hand. عرض السكون. Who says lean? Nobody says lean. Khalid, you say lean. What did you say?
I said both of them.
الضال.
But the lead.
Focus on my question. My question is very precise, very specific. الضال. Up to here, is it عارض للسكون or مدلين.
ما عارض السكون.
If I stop right here.
Stop on the end.
So, focus on what I'm trying to tell you is الضال. This portion, the first portion, is it عارض للسكون or مدلين?
عارض للسكون.
عارض للسكون, raise your
عارض
hand.
للسكون.
Who says, put your hand, who says مدلين? Let's vote. You were going to make me happy in the beginning, but then you ruined everything. مقصد, what do you think?
عرض السكون.
Let's hear.
عارض
Do you know Noshi? Perfect. What is it? مد لازم. It's لازم. It's neither, like none of them. I said الضال up to here. What are you talking about? عرض السكون, it comes at the end. It's not عرض السكون. And lean, where's the lean? It's not, there's
It's
no.
not lean, but
Huh?
it's not lean because it's not a ya or wa. Okay.
Okay, that's not lean. Okay, what about, it's not عرض السكون, why?
Not عرض للسكون.
Is it عرض السكون?
Yes, because you stop. You said you stop.
Yeah, that.
الضال up to
الضال,
there.
you said.
I mean
You
this
stop.
first portion.
You said this one portion. So الضال, but then you stop.
You cannot stop in the middle of the word. When I said like you stop, like up to here, like
Put
this
part.
first portion.
الضال.
Let's. So both of them.
So basically, so I actually I didn't want to make it very clear. So the word is الضالين. I didn't want to say the whole word. I just wanted to tell you the first portion. When you say the word الضالين, what is it?
She said.
لازم. Okay, لازم. She said لازم.
Why لازم? Next question.
So, since you said why لازم, go ahead, مقصد. Why لازم? Why لازم?
Why? So the rule from Ard is not going to apply because since you ruled it out, it's not going to apply.
Raise your voice. Let's see if you can. So, Umar is gonna correct you if you make any mistake. Go ahead. Why?
Because there's a shadda, right? There's a shadda.
Because there's a shadda?
Yeah.
It's lazim?
No. There's a shadda, and then what was it? And there's a moving letter after shadda, and then after that there's sukun,
You
right?
said there's shadda and there's moving letter after shadda. What does shadda mean?
Shadda means like double.
2 letters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Hold on. So if you break it down, one is gonna be sukun, and the second one is gonna be with the moving haraka.
Okay, that's the shadda.
Yeah.
So don't say we have a shadda and then another moving letter.
Yeah.
Because the moving letter is one of the shadda.
Shadda,
one
yeah.
part
One
of the
of the
shadda.
shadda, yeah.
Okay. Is it so any word that has shadda,
No.
it is lazim. So
No.
tell me, you're not giving me anything. Convince me.
I need help.
Or let's say Ahmed. So since you jumped and answered, you wanted to
Yes,
answer.
I was.
What type? What type of
بدل
مد لازم؟
لازم الكلمة
مد لازم كلمة مخفف ومثقل.
مثقل because the letter is مشدود after the letter Ahmad.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you got it.
Yeah, I got it.
مد لازم and then كلمة in a word and مثقل.
Because of shadda, yeah.
And مد اللين, what's the definition of مد اللين, Yusuf?
For madalin, first you need like a kind of like a stopping at one letter, and before that you would have to have like the letters of lean, which would be either ya lean or wow lean. And letters of lean is basically, well, wow or ya sukun, and the letter before that having like a fatha.
That's a very long paragraph. It's just like one sentence. Okay, summarize what you just said.
So what you need is a letter of lean before, well, first you need like a letter with the that you stop on, with like a sukun, and then before that would be the letters of lean.
And the sukun, is it original or not original? It has to be or
Original.
Are you sure?
No.
I should. Is it original or not original?
No, not original.
The letter of lean or the sukun?
The sukun.
So you have the sukun coming after the letter of lean, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's right. So the letter of lean, Umayr, what are they?
Ya and waw.
Huh?
Ya and waw.
Ya and waw. Any ya and waw?
Sukun. Sukun and the letter before has a fatha.
Perfect. So you have the letter of lean, ya or waw, sakinin. The letter before it has fatha. And then, after them, a letter that's actually moving, but you stopped. And then, because you stopped, you have right now sukun arab. Like temporary sukun. It's not like original sukun. Temporarily, because you just stopped. But if you continue, it's not going to be there. So, how many moves? Brother Khalid, do not look at Yusuf. The difference between mad al-lin and mad al-'arid sukun. If you don't know your wife, maybe she can help you. And do not cook any dinner for him tonight.
He already had his dinner.
He already had it. That's too bad.
No dessert.
So what's the difference between mad al-lin and mad al-'arid sukun?
Madalin is the lean letters has to be there, ya sakin and the waw sakin. Before that, the letter has to be a fatha. But in ard sukun, it could be any letter of mad. It could be before the letter could be fatha or kasra or.
That's right. That's the first difference. Second difference. Aba hafid. Aba hafid.
Madlin to mat. The move is to Arid either.
Repeat that. That's good. What did you say?
Madlin has to move.
Two moves. Taking his head.
2, 4 or 6.
2, 4 or 6. Okay. And mad al sukun. What about if you have madlin and mad al sukun on the same page?
Mad Arid is stronger than Madlin.
Stronger than mad al-lin. That's right. So you shorten mad al-lin.
Could you give us example?
Huh?
Example for that?
لإلاف قريش. Read it. Read that.
لإلاف قريش إلافهم
قريش. You forget the word قريش.
لإلاف قريش
It's mad.
قريش
6 حركات. You're so cheap.
2, 4 or 6.
Let's be generous.
لإلاف قريش.
You're stretching the sheen. But we said mad al sukun and mad al-lin. What do you stretch?
Yeah.
You stretch the letter before the last one.
لإلاف قريش
You see how beautiful it is?
إلافهم إلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف والصيف.
That's lean again.
فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت.
Stop فليعبدوا.
فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت.
Stop on the word.
فليعبدوا
فليعبدوا.
فليعبدوا.
What type of mud is that?
فليعبدوا.
Hold on. What type of mud? مصعب.
فليعبدوا مد طبيعي.
طبيعي. Perfect. Natural mud.
فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت. البيت.
That's lean again.
الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمن.
من جوع.
الذي أطعمهم من جوع
No, stop on the word June.
الذي أطعمهم من جوع.
What type of mad is that?
مدلين.
The waw is here is second, right? But the letter before it is madmoom. It's not مفتوح.
Okay.
So what is it?
مد عارض للسكون.
مد عارض للسكون in the same sort. الذي يطعمهم.
الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف.
What type of mad is that? خوف.
خوف وصفه مد عارض للسكون.
Why? Do you say
خوف
خوف or do you say خا?
خوف مدلين.
مدلين.
صح.
So tonight, inshallah, we are going to study something easy, inshallah. أقوى السببين. أقوى السببين. أقوى السببين. When two reasons combine together. يعني the majority of the mudud are covered. Like basics and most of them. You actually, if you know what we studied so far, the mudud, you know, 95%. خلاص. So the rest are the mistakes. And when mudud come together, when they come together, and how do you stop, what do you prefer, and comparisons between the mudud. So today, inshallah, أقوى السببين. So we say أقوى المدود. You know, without me translating these terminologies, you know them, right? You know how to read them. Lazim. And this one is? I don't want to translate these words so you can get used to them. Muttasal. What does it mean? Connected. Al-arid, we just spoke about it. Arid al-sukun. Arid. You're walking all of a sudden somebody cut you. That's arid al-sukun. And then? Al-munfasal and? You know them, right? You know them? Because you're going to summarize everything at the Mus'haf. So al-lazim, it's the strongest mad we have. And all the qurra, I ordered them in the order how, like the qurra, all the 7 qurra agreed upon. Whatever they agreed upon, the first mad they agreed upon is al-mad al-lazim, all of them, no exception, all the qurra. And then the second, they disputed a little bit, but they said it's the second, basically, the majority, al-muttasal. And then we are going to just briefly explain them really quick. Al-arid, that's the third one, al-munfasal, and then they were actually arguing because you see, also like, subhanAllah, when you have warsh, when he stretches al-badal, it's a very different from hafs. Hafs, they actually disputed over this. But subhanAllah, Rasulullah, he did both. He did in all of them. But some of them, they only took that qira'ah and they left to their original place. And then they're like stuck with that. They don't want to hear any other qira'ah. That's what we learned from the Prophet Muhammad. That's it. So, al-badal and hafs, how many moves we stretch it? 2 harakat, for example, right? But warsh, he says, آمنوا إيمانا, because آمنوا بدل, إيمانا بدل. Hafs, we recite آمنوا إيمانا, just 2 harakat. That's the most like mad being disputed upon. So this one is basically 6 harakat, we know that. 100%. All the qurra agreed. Al-muttasal. What's the muttasal, Abdul Nasser? What is it called, al-muttasal? Because I only gave you one word, al-muttasal. What's the first word? اللازم المتصل. That's not right. ها؟ واجب متصل. واجب. يعني واجب متصل. What is it? You said السماء. Can you tell me the summary of the مد واجب متصل أبا حافظ?
إذا جاء حرف
In English, so.
if Hamza come after حرف المد. In one word.
حرف المد, the letter of mad, right?
Yeah.
And also the hamza comes in one word after the letter of mad. So this one basically, they agreed on everything. Al-wajib al-muttasal, al-wajib, they actually agreed on maddihi. You have to stretch it. 97%. You have to stretch it. The 3% basically, they disputed on how many moves. You see that? Why? So this one they agreed on everything. This one they agreed on al-mad, that it's mad. It is mad. But disputed over how many moves? How many moves do we stretch at Aba Adam? الواجب المتصل. Aba Adam, come on, check your notes. Check your
4 to
notes.
5.
4, 5.
Hafs go 4 to 5.
4 to 5.
4,
Okay.
5.
You see that? Yeah, we're just studying Hafs 4 to 5. Some of the Qur'an they say it's 6. Some of them they say no, it's only 4. And some of them they say it's just 2. Khalaf and Qaluna 2. But subhanAllah, they agreed that you have to stretch it. You cannot just like don't stretch it. You have to stretch it. So Hafs, huh?
في حفص you tell us about like the 2 قراءات in حفص, right? There's 2 قراءة in حفص, one shorter and one longer, right?
No, it's not like 2 qira'at. It's just 1 qira'ah. But that's maratib al-qira'ah. 1 qira'ah, but the maratib, the stages of qira'ah. Stages like if you're by yourself in a gathering and you can just do tajweed, mujawwad. And then if you are leading the prayer with like Isha, you do tartil. Tarawih, you do tadwir. And then Qiyam, you do the Aba Adam's style.
في difference, huh?
Yes. So,
عمل لك difference.
خلاص, that's his style, mashallah, he's unique.
Doesn't appreciate it.
No, mashallah, yani, you surprised me, you know. I've never heard anybody reads that fast. Mashallah.
You were faster when we let you leave. Who was there? Was anybody was there when he let the
I think I was
there?
I think I was.
He was there. Remember,
Yeah.
they won't let him lead anymore. The brothers said, like, so.
It's a tough.
But you were better than me anyway.
So, al-arad. So let's go to al-mufassal.
Is there mad surah or is it not counted?
It's not counted here. We are going to speak about that differently. Because mad does not combine with any one of these. We are comparing these first because sometimes they come all together in one word or like next to each other. Mad salat just like related to ha. You cannot, ha is just like completely different mad. So, al-munfasal. Al-munfasal, go ahead. What is it? What's the munfasal?
The Hamza comes after the modulator.
And I'm going to include something here about Adam, since you mentioned it. Can you read this? Is it clear?
And mad,
Salat Kubra. Basically, yeah, you can include mad Salat Kubra just here in the munfasal. Do you remember when we studied Salat Kubra? Mad al-jazm munfasal and we mentioned the Salat Kubra. Do you remember that? Check your notes and give me one example. Huh? The Salat Kubra. I mentioned when we studied like Jaz Munfasal, I mentioned the Salat Kubra. What did I say about the Salat Kubra?
Hold on.
Check Aba Adam, your notes and let me know.
Salat Kubra?
4 to 5 maybe.
Yeah, but like we mentioned something about Salah Kubra when we studied the Jaiz.
هو جزء من المد الجائز.
Did we study Jaiz Munfasil before Salah Kubra or at the Salah
He said
Kubra?
it's part of the مد الجائز.
What did we say?
It's part هو جزء من المد الجائز المنفصل.
It is part of the Mad Jaiz Munfasil, the Salah Kubra. Salah Kubra. You give me an example, Noshin, for a Munfasil, and Sister Faiza, you give me like an example for Salah Kubra.
كسرة.
Kasra, where's the Kasra? Under what letter?
Next.
What letter that has the Kasra?
Ha.
Ha. So Ha has the Kasra. What's the letter before it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it have haraka or no?
No.
Sakin.
Yeah.
That's the difference. If I tell you what's the difference between what I told you and the one that you told me, because the ha, if the ha has the letter before it sakin, is that matsila? Is it matsila abada? It's not matsila. It's not matsila. So we're gonna put some mistakes here.
I think we should be a بدل.
Huh?
The green is البعض.
Badal?
بدل.
I think it's
Hey,
badal.
put an arrow in here.
No, it means
No, no.
البدل.
Badal, yeah.
البدل. Okay. So I want you to write something right now, if you're done with that. You're done with that, or? So you put like note 1. Note 1 is for مد العارض للسكون. You put note 1 مد العارض للسكون. And I will mention why some of them they stretch it 2, why some of them they stretch it 4, and why some of them they stretch it 6. Okay? You put note 1 مد العارض للسكون. العارض للسكون, note 1. First point, the 2 moves. The reason for the 2 moves. Why some of the Qurra basically chose to stretch it only 2 moves. You put 2 moves, and then the reason is they ignore the sukoon. So they ignore the sukoon. Some of them they stretch only mad arad al-sukoon 2. So you have the note 1. That's how you do it. Note 1. عارض للسكون. العارض للسكون. And then the first point is 2 moves. Why some of the Qur'an they stretch this mad 2 moves? They ignore the sukoon. لا يعتدوا بالسكون. They don't care about sukoon. And that's one of the qira'at. So they don't care about the sukoon. The other opinion is the 4 moves. What's the reason for that? They care about sukoon, but partially. We have the Qurra who stretch it 6 moves. The reason for that?
Because they love them.
Huh?
Because they love them.
The sukoon.
They love the sukoon.
They care about the sukoon. They take the sukoon like, for granted. Like, the sukoon, when it comes, that's it.
It's like mid-lazim.
Yes. So some of the Qurra, when the sukoon comes, so they 100% care about sukoon. And we know that sukoon is a reason for, like a legitimate reason for like the med. And what did you say, Brother Abdul Nasser? And it turns to lazim. That's right. And they counted. Lazim. So that's mad al-sukun. And remember, when we stretch, why do we stretch basically mad al-sukun?
You have sukoon, you have mad, so you can space between 2 sukoons.
That's right. Because actually, mad al-sukun, if you think about any word, when you stop, the letter before the last one is sakin. Al-alamin. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ya is sakin originally. It has original sukoon, al-ya, before the noon. Noon has fatha. Al-alameen. But he said you stop and then you have ya sakin and then sakin. If you don't stretch it, try to say it without stretching.
Alamin.
Yes, al-alamin. And you cannot do that. So you have to stretch that to avoid this issue. Al-alamin. At least 2 harakat. If you don't stretch it to harakat, Because if you say al-alamin, alamin, that means you stretched it to harakat. If you don't stretch it like alif, you see, remember when we studied المد اللازم الحرفي مخفف, and we spoke about alif lam mim, and we said alif, it's actually made of 3 letters, but you don't stretch it. You don't say alif, 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 2 harakat. You cannot say that. You have to say alif, alif. Same thing with al-alamin if you don't stretch it to harakat. Al-alamin, mim. The ya, it will just mim, al-alamin. But if you have to stretch it to harakat, so to avoid this issue, at least to harakat. Al-alamin, mim, to harakat. So some of them, they don't care that much about sukoon. They say just like, they care about what? That letter of mad. These people, they ignore the sukoon. So they care about the letter of mad. Hey, the sukoon is not important in there. We already have the mad anyways. That's their opinion. We already have the mad, so we will stretch the ya. Al-alamin, a letter of mad. So sukoon is not important for them. And it's mad tabi'i, right? That al-ya. Ya sakin, and the letter before it is kasra. It's natural mad. So you stretch it to harakat. That's their opinion. They say it's just like a natural mad. Ya sakin, and the letter before it is maksur, so it's mad tabi'i, the natural, the primary one, to harakat. They said we don't even need the sukoon. And you have only one option, stretch it to harakat. That's it, that's their opinion. The other opinion is they care about the sukoon partially. They say the sukoon makes a difference. Like, you have the letter of mad, ya, sakin, and the letter before it is maksur, but because you stopped, so they stretch it 6 harakat. That's جائز منفصل جائز متصل or واجب متصل.
جائز.
What about المنفصل? جائز منفصل or واجب منفصل? جائز. جائز منفصل. The 2 moves. I think
Same thing with this.
same. Let's copy those stuff. Or harakat. Or moves.
Just 4 to 5, not 4 to 6.
That's right. I'm going to tell you right now. When you stop on it, basically. But when you stop on it, I'm going to put the harakatayn. Let me just put this in here. I'm going to elaborate it here then. Harakatayn, same thing. They ignore the, they ignore the sukoon, or what do they ignore, Aba Adam? You told me the same thing. They ignore what?
The hamza.
The hamza. So let's put it there. They ignore the hamza. I'm going to write something in here.
So if there is 1, it always should be 2, right? There is 1. If mad is, if it is a natural mad it's 2. So it will
Which
not
one
be
is? Which one you're talking about?
You say 1 to 2.
No, one at them.
No.
Item one.
Oh.
It's 2 move, yeah. bend.
Yeah, 4 to 5. But when you stop on it, that's the only exception. You don't mention it. So one exception, if you stop on the word with مد جائز منفصل, مد واجب متصل, that must connected, السماء. If you stop on the word السماء, if you continue and you read it, إذا السماء انشقت, you did not stop on it. You have the option to do 4 to 5. Let's say you stopped on it, you stretch it a little bit longer. The mad. Yeah, 6 حركات, up to 6 حركات. إذا السماء. Why? Do you know why? Two reasons. متصل, the hamza, and also the sukun. Imagine this is like one of the strongest reasons. You have the two reasons for the mudud. We have either hamz or sukun. The two reasons combined in one word if you stop on any wajib muttasil. So that's the wajib muttasil. This one is munfasil, disconnected. So the disconnected, some of them they stretch it only to, they ignore the hamza. Al-munfasil. Give me an example. بما أنزلنا إليك. بما أنزل. بما أنزلنا. إنا أنزلنا. Some they say it. إنا أنزلنا. They take it as natural. They don't care about the hamza. Why? They said because before the hamza, there's like a letter of mad. Mad tabi'i. We already have mad tabi'i, so don't worry about the hamza. We will treat it as mad tabi'i. قالوا آمنا إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر. That's fine. 2 حركات. Some of them, they choose to do it 2 moves. But us in Hafs, we do it 4 to 5. If it's in the middle. When you start, إِنَّا أَنزَلْ, you stretch it. The other opinion, they say, less than the muttasil. Muttasil, it's wajib. This one, munfasil, is jaz, permissible. That's the only difference. They say muttasil and munfasil, and they put here jaiz, and that's wajib. So it's stronger than the munfasil. So the other opinion is more than 2 moves, but it's like less than the muttasil. They care about the hamza. So they say, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ. إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ. Yes, it's mad طبيعي, but you know the hamza, it's one of those obstacles like that come and causes some issues. So we will actually push it a little bit and stretch it like longer. And instead of, if you have متصل and munfasil in the same page, in the same surah, you stretch which one longer? Al-muttasil. You stretch the muttasil longer.
When we have two sukun, we make mad.
When we have two sukun?
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's the mad? Why we make mad for Hamza? If the Hamza as-samaa rafa'aha, there is fatha on Hamza. Why do we
As-samaa. You stop on the as-samaa.
Whether as-samaa, there is
Sukun on Hamza.
But if I continue.
If you continue, there is, you're asking why do we stretch? Why do we stretch it if we continue?
Yeah, why
Okay, that's a smart question. Let me, if you answer it, anybody answer it? Answer this, I'm going to give you color. Who knows the reason? Abu Adam. He said, wajib muttasil, when we continue, why do we stretch it anyways? Why? There is no two sukun, basically. No sukun, actually, like, you know, basically, out of the sukun, you have the letter before the last one is sakin, and then you stop, you create another sukun. But let's say, like, as-sama, you don't have two sukuns.
But you have Hamza.
Hamza is maftuha. إذا السماء, إذا السماء, إذا السماء. Sometimes, huh? Either like fatha, من السماء. من السماء والأرض لله ما في السماء من السماء والأرض.
You have to have sukun or Hamza, right? So
But Hamza is moving. Why do we stretch مد
Because the Hamza have a different makhraj, so you have to kind of prepare for it.
If you fix your answer is 2% correct.
2%.
Okay.
Give him some coffee. Half cup.
What's the letter before the Hamza, Abdul Nasser?
Alif, sukun.
Alif.
Yeah, sukun.
Alif, where does it come? And with sukun, right? Alif with sukun. And give me the sound of Alif. Let's see if you remember it. If you remember it, that's good. If you remember the sound. What's the sound of the Alif? Please mix in between that and something else. What's the sound of the Hamza then? Huh?
Hamza. Alif.
Alif? The sound of Hamza.
Hamza is ha.
Ha, it doesn't have anything to do with Hamza.
You can't say it without a letter.
You can, and that was tricky, and I mentioned it.
Alif doesn't have a sound.
No.
It has a sound. Abu Adam, he mentioned the sound of the Hamza. Say it. Remember, like, you know, the grammar for the sound of the letters?
Alif and school.
Alif with fatha plus the Hamza with sukun. Alif with fatha plus the Alif with sukun. The top one, because they're completely different letters, but if you notice, these two letters, they're very close in the sound, right? You say the alif, the letter of mad, when you say it correctly, the chest moves, the bones. Like it flattens like it. You feel like the move if you say alif, and then go, comes from here, and then the Hamza right here next to it. It's hard, like this is how he used to say it. I mentioned this earlier. Alif, you already said and then that's the sound of the hamza. The alif, you give it the right sound and then you add the touch of the hamza. And then move here. From here.
You know what? We used to do like this. That's the sound.
That's of the alif. And then you move a little bit, move to the tongue.
No, in madrasa back in home, you know, like we used to do like this, you know, like it was so hard like to pronounce Hamza. That's why like they used to hit the chest. That's Hamza.
Yes. And you squeeze it a little bit. And you add the alif. That's the sound of the hamza. So you get the reason why do we stretch it? Remember, like an'amta, a hamza and ayn. Why do we make it one of the strongest, like, you know, ibhar mutlaq? أعمت أعمى الله قلوبهم أعمى الله. Do you know the word ijtima in Urdu? Ijtima.
Yeah. Ijtima.
Combining.
Gathering.
How come, like, subhanAllah, I know a lot of words in Urdu, but when you speak, I don't understand anything.
Because we don't use the Arabic word.
Huh?
We don't use the Arabic word.
You don't use ijtima, you don't use zaruri, lazim, you don't use this, that I know.
They don't use those words.
They know everything, almost everything, but when they speak, I know nothing.
It's like you talking to Arabs and you say, how come I don't hear like any words from Quran from you guys, right?
Subhanallah. Yani, sometimes Umar gives me the hope when I ask him, or yes, we have these words in Urdu, we have these. Then I go to their gatherings. What they're talking about. اجتماع اللازم والبدل. That's easy, right? Combining. لازم. بدل.
another announcer saying it's almost time to go home.
Oh, خلاص ده
Running out of space for them.
the combining between متصل and بدل. رئاء الناس. What I want you to do is أبا آدم, and also the rest if you can do it. You give me the original word of رئاء. يلا.
رئاء.
رئاء. Write it down and show me how do you write رئاء.
رؤيا.
What's the original form of رئاء?
رؤيا.
The original form of this word, because remember, any med badal, it's not the original form. We twisted the word to make it easy to read.
ريا.
Write it down. Remember, like Khalid, when you asked me about the word jaw, and I broke that down for you, and I did that on the board. When we spoke about the mad al-badal, and I told you the original words, how you write them down. Like the word, the name of Adam. Did you write it down, Abba? The Adam? The Adam, you have to write it down correctly, because Adam, this word shouldn't actually leave your mind.
There's also corrections, keep leaving mind.
It's a tricky word. Huh? It's one of the.
I think the only thing I'm not sure if the Hamza first one is on the.
Remember, like, you know, mad al-badal. This word basically right now, something is twisted, something is being replaced. What did we replace with what?
Yeah.
We replaced the ya.
Yeah, sukun.
Which ya? Write it down. Let me see. Write it down and MashaAllah, we still have more tea. Who wants more tea? More tea? Let me wake you up, Abdel Nasser. Give me your. You need to wake up. Do you know how to write it down?
I tried it.
You tried it? Let me see. Let me see.
Did I got it?
That's the original, that's the one in the Quran.
Original one.
Anybody try it? Anybody?
Here.
That's not right. Probably Abba Yusuf.
I was trying to say, no, I did
You
not
see
write.
that? Yeah, you see that? Yeah, you have that note. It's exactly the same. You will be surprised when we bring it there.
Those people who have markers like this have it.
I think it's
You should go give a class there. And it's
No. Anybody?
I don't know. I think it's messed up. I don't know. And then we replace this Hamza with this.
No. No. Bad, it's great.
Let me go back then.
Allah, yeah, so generous. So, I will break it. It's very weird. Like, I'm going to tell you right now. Just watch this. So, just watch. Basically, any mad badal, it has originally two hamazat. One of them is replaced. Which one is replaced? The second one or the first
Second
one?
one.
It's easy, the second one. So the original one, it's still there, the first one. The original one is still here, right? What does it have?
Fatha.
So
The previous
we
one.
replaced the second one with what?
Alif.
With alif.
Yeah.
You see that? So this one basically, Hamza, Sakina. How do you say it? You see what we did? If you think about it, it was so easy. You just maybe you forget what to do. The first Hamza is still there. You look at the haraka of the first Hamza, Fatha. Then it's Hamza on the alif, Sakina. Imagine if it's Hamza Maksura, it will be Hamza on the ya. You see that? Imagine if it's Hamza Maghmuma, it will be Hamza on the waw. We spoke about that. So if you see how tough it is, 3 hamazat. Yeah. But you see how it is written, the original form of it? What did we do? We actually took the second hamza, we eliminated that, right? We replaced it with what? With alif. Alif, right? Alif with sukun, right? We put the alif. And then the next hamza came, then it turns from mad al-badal to what? To mad wajib muttasal. You see that?
Yeah.
You put, what did you do?
I just put over here instead of over here.
That's, so you changed the place, you gave me another one. So there's no alif. The original one, it was like ra, hamza, and then hamza on alif, and then hamza at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, subhanallah. So that's the mad al-badal. And inshallah, I think we will stop here. Abdul Nasser will make an issue.